Have you noticed that life brings us these different waves? And they can be quite fleeting, they sort of come and go. But when they come, they bring a certain energy that can be out of the norm, not something that you normally feel. You know, when you're in your default setting, your normal flow. And every now and then this wave comes that brings a whole different energy, maybe like a certain clarity or inspiration or feeling that if you act on and ride the wave, certain things can be easier. Whatever that inspiration is, whatever that clarity is, whatever that decision is that you make when that wave comes or that comes to mind, it can be easier. You can feel it. Yet the waves don't last forever, you know, they have their peak and the full momentum's there, everything's there. And if you act in that moment and ride that momentum and ride it out whilst you're supported in that certain field, that certain thing, you can get a lot done. Or get a lot done with more ease in a certain field. That's what I've noticed. When the energy's supporting a certain thing and you act on it then, whilst it's so clear, whilst the inspiration's there and you gain momentum, it's like you're supported with more ease. And I think this has to do with a few different things. It makes sense to me of why it happens, you know, on the bigger picture. Outside of ourselves, there's things affecting us, and then we've got our moods and chapters that we go through as well. But the waves can be short, they can be long, they can last over years, or they can just last over a day or two or three, you know. But if you make the decision when the wave's there, the things that feel clear, the things that like are in the moment are a no-brainer of like, yes, this is it. If I act on this, there are normally moments where you have like no doubt. You sort of see the outcome, you see what you need to do. Yet if we don't act on it then, the wave come and goes, and then days can pass, weeks can pass, months can pass, and it's not so clear. Then you start second guessing it, you start thinking, oh, I don't know. Where by acting when the waves just sweeping through and you ride it, you can figure it out along the way. But at least you got started, you know. It's like smoking. Smoking can be a hard thing to quit, or addiction can be a hard thing to quit, and we can be stuck in that for a long period of time. But a wave can come where you're determined. You've actually got to the point you hate the bad habit that you've been doing for a long period of time, or where previously, maybe before that wave, you were kind of subconsciously quite happy still with the habit. You weren't ready to change it. And you can sort of think, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that thing, you know. If you're real with yourself deep down, you're quite happy with that bad habit. But then a wave will come where you're sick of it. You can see clearly you've got all the motivation you need to stop that thing. And if you act on it then, it's easier. It's 100% easier. It's like you're supported. Then before you know it, you've done 3 days without that bad habit, 6 weeks without that bad habit. And the wave might have come and gone, but you acted whilst the wave was there, and you gained momentum. You used it whilst there was an energy there supporting you that made that decision easier, that made you see it clearly. And if you act on it, then you're out of the worst. A bad habit like smoking, you know. If you act whilst you've got to that moment where you hate it, and then ride that wave whilst you've got the full motivation and inspiration and clarity, because that can quickly go. It might even be the next day. You think, what was I thinking? I could stop that bad habit. Or it might be weeks pass and you think, what was I thinking? I could stop that bad habit. Yeah, if you'd actually acted and made that decision then, right, that's me done, whilst that energy was there supporting you, then you can ride the wave. And then when those weeks come where you are down yourself, you're already in it. You've already done 3 weeks, 6 weeks without that bad habit. You made the most of it. You rode the wave. You've changed up. You've switched up. Just as an example, it's like the lion, you know. Lions hunt and they sprint whilst they've got inspiration. Then they rest and then they repeat. You know, not every day or every chapter of our life is just going to be the same, straightforward, expecting the same of ourselves over and over and over again. There's a lot of power in sprinting whilst the inspiration's there, then resting, then go again. Sprint, rest, go again. Sprint, rest, go again. That's how lions hunt, rather than expecting yourself to constantly be on that thing, you know. As I said, this can be over long periods of time or short periods of the time. Today, it's a Friday night here. I've actually been making some music, and I haven't really been in the music mode recently. I've had a break after years and years and years of pretty much doing music every day. My priorities have pretty much shifted over the last couple of months. I've still got projects going on. There's still plenty of going on in that world, but it's not requiring me much to keep it going, and I'm just diving into it when I fancy it. Like tonight, Friday night, a friend come round, a guy I do music with. I've got projects on the go with him at the moment, but most of my work with him, it's done. Yeah, chatting to him and having a catch up with him, the inspiration came again for me to start making some music, and that's what I've been doing tonight. And I also can look back at like my creative hours over the last 10 years, the days I've spent being creative. It's very much been like this, you know, sprint whilst you got inspiration, then rest, and then repeat. Sprint whilst you got motivation, then rest and repeat. And that quote about the lion, my brother actually sent me. He said, "This is how you are. This is how you operate." And I'd never seen it before, you know, but it's true. It's true. If we act, and it's the same when these waves of inspiration come, or we ride the waves that life brings us, and it can be in anything. As I said, it can be in something like a bad habit, like quitting smoking. For years, you just might not be in that. You might not be ready to make a change. Yet an energy will come where the change is inevitable, but it will only last for so long, and then it's gone again. And there's some real power in acting while that's there. And for those that struggle with procrastination, everything like that, I think that's part of the problem, you know, because they have all the ideas, they have all the thoughts, they see the vision, but they don't act. And then the next day or the next week, they think, oh, what was I thinking? I don't know, it's not so clear now. It doesn't seem as easy to approach right now than what it did that night. I was laying awake thinking about it. If they had acted and just figured it out along the way, they'd be further into that journey than when they didn't decide to catch the wave and ride it. It's something to bear in mind. Recognise when the waves are coming. Recognise when energy's supporting you to do a certain thing, because it can bring clarity. You know, it brings clarity, and you know exactly what you need to be doing. And then, as I said, doubts can come in, or things can shift up. You start focusing on other things, and that wave's been and gone. It really is like catching it when it comes in before you lose it. And I reckon it will come back round. You know, it will come back round. That energy will come back round sooner or later, but you don't know when it is. And you either force yourself and battle through it, because we have to do things like that in life. We have to just keep turning up, disciplined, and forcing it. But there will definitely be a wave where you don't have to force it, and you're supported fully in that decision, or in that act, or in that change, with clarity and ease. You know, it's like everything in you is like, no, I know what I need to do, and if I follow it now, I'll get a lot done. I'll do the first footsteps, do the first steps in that journey whilst energy's supporting me. When we don't recognise the waves, and we just have these fleeting thoughts and think, oh yeah, that might be something I could do, without taking it seriously, and then it's gone again. And we think, I never done that thing. Or I'm yet to explore that thing that at times in my life's been very clear what I need to do. But then the doubt comes in, circumstances change, focus changes. There's a lot of power in recognising the wave and then riding it. Gain momentum. Sprint whilst it's there, surf whilst it's there, then rest. There's a lot of truth in that. Definitely a pattern that I've noticed, for sure. A pattern that I've noticed. I don't know if I said, but today's been a slow day. For me, I've been in the slow lane. That's a rest period. And it's good to be in that and follow that and recognise that. I'm still going to get my bits done, but I'm going to operate from the slower lane today. And tomorrow I'll probably be in a different mood again. I might be sprinting. Have clarity on what I need to be acting on. And when you are acting on the things, when you've got the energy and you have no problem in acting, then there's no problem having the rest days, right? In a way, you can give them to yourselves, because you know the energy is going to come back around. And then you'll be in your momentum again, making progress on whatever it is you want to do. And these waves, you know, they can spark massive changes in your life. You might never look back, you know, by riding the wave and by acting on when that energy came through. You might never look back and never go back to that default thing. You might actually make the change there, you know, of seeing something clearly, acting on it in that moment, and then that becomes your default over the years to come. Rather than waiting for it to be gone and then second guessing it and thinking, it's not as clear now. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. Act whilst the wave's strong. Sprint with it, then rest. And you can go again. And we can get better and better at recognizing when these energies are coming through, or when the inspiration's coming through, when the clarity's coming through. And also recognize, once we understand and recognize that, like, this might not last forever. It's worth making the most of now. It's worth acting on now. Once we recognize that and understand that, then it's easier to act. You think, there might be something here that's worth exploring. I'm going to do it now whilst I feel it. I'm going to take this time whilst I feel it to explore it, see where it leads me. It might be a short period of your life, it might be a long period of life for you, as I said, it might make some big change for you. But it's all about recognizing the wave, riding the wave, and using that energy that we're supported at different points in our life, and running with it whilst we've got it. Otherwise, these moments of clarity, these moments of inspiration just come and go. You can keep getting stuck in the white waves, you know, in the bit where they're just crashing on the beach. You just keep getting caught in that bit, wondering why it's not all clear, why there's no momentum, because we keep catching it at the wrong time, and we keep waiting for the wrong time rather than the perfect moments where it's there, supporting us, ready to go. Sprint like a lion, sprint when inspired. Rest like a lion, rest and then repeat. You'll get a lot done, and just recognise that these waves do come and go, and we can make the most of them.